Hey everybody, how are you doing today? Today I want to share with you some information that I think is kind of important as I've realized in with talking with people over the last 2 to 3 weeks, especially since I had started talking about branding in general, that people are still very, very unclear about what branding is and what does that look like for your business and your company, and why is it important before you do any of your marketing? And why is that absolutely critical in order to turn people into buyers on Pinterest? I think that's the key element that I wanted you to take away from this today. So I'm going to go through this a little bit more step by step, and hopefully this will help you get a little clearer about your brand if you haven't thought about it. This is just highly important that you think about your brand. And then you're going to create a path for yourself that's going to make it so much easier for your marketing efforts. If you're doing a lot of marketing and you're just not seeing sales and traffic coming in, this is probably why. Is just people don't understand your brand. So it doesn't matter what you do, it just probably is confusing to people. It's not getting their attention. Okay. So let's cover the first parts of this. Why is effective branding important, just in general? Well, there's something about our human brain where we're constantly looking for ways to survive and thrive. In other words, as human beings, we have just a little bit of selfishness in us that we're just born with. Okay. If you haven't noticed that already, you can see that from the time that babies grow into toddlers and they begin to do little things like, stealing a cookie and then lie about it. Okay. That's just our human nature of how we're born. So we're born in a capacity where we are thinking about ourselves a lot, and we have to work very hard of trying to think outside of ourselves. It takes a lot of effort to do that just because of our human nature. So our brains are constantly looking at things, and it's just a survival mechanism as part of it. And we're looking at it and saying, how does this help me? Is there anything that I can get out of this that's going to help me? And if not, if it doesn't help me, within 5 seconds, I'm going to tune it out because I need to save my energy for paying attention to the things that do help me and save my energy for what is most important for me in the day. So if you are not creating pins in a way that is helping people to understand what your brand is about, to the capacity of how is this important for them? What problems are you solving for them? Is this going to enhance their life in a way that is incredible and beneficial, that's helping them thrive? Okay. So survive and thrive is very, very important. And you have to make that a part of your brand. And when you do that, the next step is to make it a part of your brand in a way where it's easy to understand. So you don't want the novel written, you need the condensed, edited version of your brand that you're going to tell people. Your message about your brand needs to be the Cliff Notes. So you can write it out for yourself in long form of your brand, who you are, what you offer, how it helps people, all of the benefits that people will receive to help them survive and thrive. You definitely need to write all of that out and include as much information as possible. You can write out a list, bullet points, and then when you create your message in your pins, you do a brief, condensed, edited version of that. You get that on the pin. Every pin can look different. So it could be like one benefit, or one way that it solves a problem, one way that it helps people thrive, one way that it helps enhance their lives. I mean, that is one focused thing on that pin, and it will get their attention because it's easy to understand. You also want to include that in the pin description and focus on one major problem. What is the one thing that people are looking for in these types of products, and does your product solve that problem? Now, by doing that, now you don't have a lot of competition either, because most people aren't doing this. It's hard to find a lot of great companies that have their branding is just superior. So if you want to get people's attention, this is what you need to include as part of your brand message. And then when you tell them your brand message, it needs to be the condensed version of it. Don't try to cram in a lot of words on your pin, because people only have so much energy, and they're going to conserve their energy as much as possible for things that are critical. So if your pin is very confusing, they're going to ignore it. It's too much energy to try and understand it. If there's a lot of text on there that's unnecessary, they're just going to zone out and look for something else. It's not important for them. Okay. Now, how does effective branding turn people into buyers on Pinterest? Very, very easily, because now you are inviting people in who align with your brand. This is why it's not necessary for you to go out and follow a whole bunch of people thinking and in hopes that they're going to follow you back. And now suddenly you've got these people who are shoppers. They're not. You know, the whole game of I follow you, you follow me doesn't result in sales at the end of the day. It really doesn't, because who you are trying to follow may not align with your brand whatsoever. And they don't, you don't align with their brand either if they have a brand. So it doesn't do any good. It's a waste of time, to be honest with you. When you have an effective brand and people can understand it easily and clearly, it gets their attention. When you have their attention, what you're doing is you're inviting people in who align now with you, because they understand who you are. They get it. And it defines who they are and what they are passionate about. Okay, so now you are inviting people in and they are becoming engaged. You are engaging them to become passionate about your brand. They will start following you. And this is where you start seeing a lot of followers that suddenly happen overnight, because the branding now is very clear and they love the branding. It aligns with what they're looking for. It aligns with how it helps them to survive and thrive. They understand it. It's clear. And now you'll get this burst of followers that will start happening. They'll begin following your boards. They'll begin following your entire profile. Okay, so that's the first step. You're going to start seeing an increase of pin saves. People will begin saving a lot of what you have to offer. So they're now looking every day at the pins that are out there about your brand, and they've already begun to fall in love with your brand. So you got their attention. They'll start saving those pins, and they're going to save them for different reasons, different times, different occasions. They are planners. So if they're planning ahead for, let's say, Easter, then what they're going to do is start collecting those things from you, because they are passionate about following your brand now. They're going to start collecting those pins from you and put them into a board that might be plans for purchases to help with their Easter plans that they are building right now. So if you are that lucky that, and it's not luck, really it's not, it's a complete strategy. It's not luck. It's a complete strategy that you need to do for your brand and why it's so important. You now have the followers, you've invited people in, they become engaged, they're passionate about you and your brand. Guess what? They will turn into shoppers at the right time, because they don't care about price anymore. Suddenly price is not something that is at the forefront of their mind. That's not really something that is important any longer. What's important to them is what you have to offer. And how is it going to solve problems for them? How is it going to help them survive and thrive? And depending on what it is, people will pay whatever price you ask for. They don't really mind at all. I mean, if your stuff is in alignment for what they're passionate about, and you're helping them solve problems, helping them to survive and thrive, helping them to enhance their lives, they will pay whatever price. It does not matter. So this is why you can see people who will pay 3 to 5 times more for Apple products than they will for similar products out there that are PC and Android. Why is it? that they do that is because Apple has a superior premium brand. They are a blue ocean. That is their strategy behind marketing their products. So you really need to dig into this. This is why it's so important, is because your marketing will not be effective until you really think clearly about your brand and what it is that you are, so that you can then align everything around that. You can align your products around it. You can align knowing what products you need to create or what products you need to let go of. You can align your marketing efforts in that way. And I will tell you that very few people, very few companies, there's not that many that are doing this. And the ones that are the ones that are selling 6 figures, 7 figures, and beyond. That's what I see. They are the ones that are getting the sales and are very, very successful because their branding is in place. It's easy for people to understand. Do you see the link there? So that's how you can increase your sales, by just doing that, is get your brand aligned in a way where it makes sense to people and you know exactly what it is and who you are. All right. I invite you also, we are a Pinterest marketing agency. I invite you also to join a call with me to see if you would be a good fit for our agency in marketing your products. If you feel that your brand is really good, you've got a superior brand, all of this seems to make sense to you, all of it you've been purposely working on, you have the whole strategy in place, then we would love to work with you on Pinterest, because we know that we can get your brand and your products into the hands of the right people. We'll be able to understand your brand. We'll be able to then do very, very effective marketing and do it in a way where it's clear and understandable to the people who are on Pinterest. So I will leave a link at the top of this post and in the comments for where you can go to schedule a time to chat with me, and then we can see if it's something that would work. If it's not a good fit for right now, no problem. Maybe down the road, it would be a good fit. And if you're not sure, then I can help you with that as well. So don't be afraid to schedule a call, and I can help you identify that. And then maybe down the road, if it's not a good fit right now, immediately down the road, it may, and could come back at that later date. And then we can address it again and see if we would be a good fit to add into the mix, or would it not be a great fit right now and it would be a lot of wasted time and money, which definitely I'm not for that at all. Want you to really become successful. And so this is a way of trying to identify, those companies where they are on track with their branding and they are ready. They are ready to go with getting their Pinterest marketing enhanced in a very, very effective way. Those are the ones that we're looking for, that we want to help and get behind and be able to push them to the next level in their business of sales. So if that's you, definitely get on a call with me so that we can get you into our agency and get started working for you. Hopefully this helps you with branding, so that if you're not there yet, this is how you get there. This is how you get there. And you can get your sales up by just going back to the drawing board and doing these basics. It won't take you that long to do, but you have to do it. You can't ignore it. All right, I'll let you go for now. Have a great day.